Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Table Talk. I'm your host, Jake Combs, and tonight we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So, as you can see, we have a bunch of stuff sitting here. None of this was sent to us for the purpose of this video. These were actually all of the things that I received for Christmas, specifically for the hobby. So, I'm just going to kind of go through some of the things that we received, check out some of the things that we've never looked at before, and kind of give you an idea of what some of the cool options are out there. So as you can see, got a couple of terrain pieces, one of which is actually going to be used as terrain, which is the Skaven Knowholes, because I am amassing a sizable Skaven force and I want their specialized terrain to go with it, and just because they look awesome. Both that and the Sigmarite Dais were actually sent to me by my father, who's really good at clicking the links that I tell him to order for me for my birthday and for Christmas, and he did so. And then the other items, those were all from my wife and my kids, and my mother-in-law. So we're gonna go ahead and set these things aside and start with the Knowholes. Now, as always, if you are going to use a knife, make sure you are exercising proper knife safety, unlike you see me doing sometimes. Now, I've never really looked at this kit before as far as pieces go, so this is new for me. I know that they've been around for a while though, and it does say on the back that the rules are included for the Knowholes. My understanding is that the gist of them is that by having them there, you can essentially respawn some of your slain Skaven, or even bring in some additional ones more than your points would normally allow. Now again, that is my understanding. Whether that's the case or not, I have no idea. So we have our multi-page assembly guide for each one. Some good details there. Now, it is not one of the newer style where we have the two-tone pages. And then for the rules, so at the start of your movement phase, you can use one to transport one friendly Skaven-tied unit. In order to do so, that they must be within 6 inches of the Knowhole, and a friendly Skaven-tied hero must be within 6 inches of the Knowhole. So basically, you pull them through one and then more or less teleport them to another. So it doesn't look like you're actually respawning them, it's more of a transport system. Then we have Order of the Horned Rat. So friendly units get to add 1 to casting and unbinding rolls for wizards while within 1 inch of the terrain, and opponents roll a dice for each unit that finishes a normal move or charge within 1 inch. On a 1, they suffer D3 mortal wounds. So that's pretty cool. Basically something chaotic to hurt your opponents. So if you stay close to these, that means anyone that gets close to you to fight is going to end up getting hurt by this eventually. So that's pretty cool. Now, looking at the sprues, right off the bat, I see we have 3 identical sprues, which makes sense because looking at the pictures, the Knowholes are very, very similar, just kind of from different angles. So I'm assuming that the instructions for building one is going to be the same for building all of them. But we have some rocks carved with some of the Skaven symbols, the traditional kind of triangle shape that they do more than anything else. The kind of vortex has some lightning coming off of it, same with the braziers as well. And then we have 3 more identical sprues. This is mostly the wood portions, the chains to hold the braziers, and then some more parts of the actual portal itself. So let's see if we can kind of fit them. So it kind of does like a yin-yang type shape to connect them together to do the full circle of the novel. So definitely some cool looking pieces. Really looking forward to building these for the table. And honestly, like, even if I'm not playing Skaven, they're just really cool looking features. So they will probably see some regular use when we're playing Age of Sigmar especially. Now for the dais, this I actually have something else in mind. So I'm not actually planning on building the terrain as it's listed on the box. My next project, as soon as I'm finished with my Curse City box set that I have, is going to be spent actually building a photo backdrop to use with my miniatures. And so this is going to be bringing in some of the pieces that we're going to be using for that. Oops, sorry about that. I leaned too far away and it pulled the camera down. So let me bring it back up. There we go. Sorry about that. And I'm hooked on a chair again. All right. So as I was saying, I plan on using some of the floor in the center of the dais for that piece, as well as some of the kind of wall sconces, torches, things like that. Now, I'm leaning towards using the Sigmar statue as well, but I haven't decided if I'm really going to, just because of the fact that I want this piece to be able to be used for both Age of Sigmar and 40k, as well as Necromunda. And so with that being the idea, having a big statue that says Sigmar across the front is going to make things a little less believable there. So we have the first sprue, which is the statue itself, as well as some of the braziers and the pieces for that. Now, looking at it, the actual Sigmar writing, I mean, that could be easily be carved off and smoothed out to kind of make it just part of like the cape itself. So that way it could just be like, any sort of, imperial saint of some sort. And then I do see one of the pieces did fall out, which is the center of one of the fires. Then we have some pillars, which I was leaning towards using some of these as well. And it looks like we actually have two of those sprues. Actually, two similar sprues. They're not exactly the same, because I do see that the broken pillars are actually different. But there's a ton of detail on those. Now, what I was not expecting is the dais itself to be a single piece, or well, two single pieces. I was honestly anticipating, the steps being in pieces, and then the platform itself being separate pieces. So that does make using them for flooring a bit more difficult. But that's not going to be that big of a concern, because of the fact that one of the packages that we got was from Greenstuff World. And so we're actually going to look at that next. So with this, go ahead and open up the tube. So this is their Dwarven roller. Now, it's going to be very hard for you guys to see. Hopefully the camera's focusing on it. But this is made to be able to basically take like a big kind of thing of green stuff, roll this over it, and you can easily make floor tiles that are kind of dwarven in nature. Now, with the temple idea that I had in mind, This particular one's not going to work great for it, just because, you know, it doesn't really work for an Empire or even a 40K Imperial church, but it would work, you know, as long as I kind of left off the more obvious iconography that's on there. And as soon as I saw this piece came in, I've always been interested in getting these just for basing alone. And so when I saw this and, you know, put it on my Christmas list, and my wife ordered it for me, the shipping was actually really fast, because she basically ordered it about a week before Christmas, expecting it to not arrive within, you know, a couple weeks even after Christmas. And it actually arrived 2 days after Christmas, so it was a much faster delivery time than we expected. So that was pretty cool. But once I saw it, I absolutely loved the roller itself. And so I went ahead and used some of my birthday money to order 3 more, which those are now on the way and should hopefully be here within the coming weeks. And with it, though, she also ordered me a chainmail texture plate, which is basically a way of mimicking chainmail with some of your green stuff, and then also the same thing but for a wolf pelt, or sorry, a fur texture plate. So you can just use small bits of green stuff, kind of drape them over and make it look like it's a hide that's laying on something. So very excited about those. They had a few other of those as well, about 3 different levels of the chainmail. And so basically went with the one that's more to the scale of most of what I work with. So it's going to be easier to use more universally. Now let's go ahead and open it up and just kind of feel how soft it is, because it looks like it's pretty flexible. And it actually is. So like basically once you press it in there, you can easily kind of bend this away from it to pull it off. So that's cool. I honestly thought it was going to be a bit more stiff, kind of like the roller is. Wasn't expecting that level of flexibility on there. Is just looking at it up close, seeing the material, it looked like it would be softer and flexible, and it was. Now, the last item, other than, I mean, there were a couple books that I received as well, specifically surrounding the Sabbath Crusade for a 40K, but they were some of the spin-off books. But since there's not really much to unbox there and show you guys, I left those on the bookshelf. But I am very excited to read those. I know the Volpone one, which is the one that I received specifically for my birthday. That one is also available for audiobook. So I'm really looking forward to that one, as well as the other one I received, which is the second in the spin-off series about Urdesh, or Urdesh. I'm not sure exactly how it's meant to be pronounced. Now, with this kind of little funky looking doodad is actually a light and magnifying system to make painting easier. So you can adjust the light right here, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna need some batteries. Yeah, looks like 3 AAA from what I can see. And then you have this box of magnifying lenses, as well as a cleaning cloth for it. So basically you can adjust this to, you know, however you want to see with it, and then, you know, bring the items up close so you can see the detail a lot better, and then do your painting. So definitely going to be some adjustment to get like the right angle for painting. Like right here with the angle that I have right now, this is about as close as I need to get, and to look at this anyway. And I honestly feel like that is a bit too close, so maybe this is the wrong lens for me. So we're gonna go ahead, swap it out, try one of the others. Ooh, almost lost it. So that one was the 3.5 times. Let's see, the next one is 2.5 times. So that one definitely not having to get it as close, and then looks a lot better when looking at the piece as well. But the one part to get used to is I'm not used to looking through glasses like this. So like I'm already, like just for the couple minutes of trying it, I'm feeling a little bit of strain already on my eyes. So using this, you're probably going to want to do this in small doses. Let's see, this one is 2 times. Let's give that one a try. So about the same distance, not too much further. But as far as the level of detail at this distance, the 2.5 was definitely much better. Now this one is the 1.5. And actually right there, this one's a lot less strain on my eyes the way it is, and I can see the detail really well at this distance, which this is about as far away as I usually paint anyway. And so very, very good focus with that one. Definitely liking that. And then this one is actually flip it over. Oh, so this is the 1 times. So it magnifies a little bit, so just not nearly as much. And about in focus is the same, but I think for me the 1.5 is definitely that sweet spot. The 1 and the 1.5 definitely wasn't feeling as much strain on my eyes when looking through it. Now once I actually get using with the actual the models to paint with, that level of magnification very well may be insufficient for my needs. So it's definitely some things to look out for. That was from, let's see, visionaidmagnifier.com. Definitely really like it. Can't wait to see how it looks when using the lights as well when I'm trying to paint, because my station where I paint most of the time is kind of in the corner of a room where the light is, the only light that I have is actually in the center of the room, and it's not very bright to begin with. It's actually a little bit, I'd say probably about half as much illumination as what we have right here under the light that's directly above me, because again, that light is in the center of the room and my desk is over in the corner. So it definitely puts a lot more shadow on it, so seeing some of the details is a little bit more difficult. So using a light on this and with the magnifier, that's gonna make things a lot easier for me to see while painting. So I'm really looking forward to trying that out, and I plan on doing so this weekend. And so on next week's video, I should be able to discuss some of the things that I've learned while using it, and hopefully my new rollers will be in by the next time we filmed. I doubt it, just because of the fact that I barely ordered them like yesterday or the day before. So, but definitely some cool stuff. Really looking forward to playing with my new toys. Now, as far as that diorama goes, my plan, once I get it kind of sketched out as far as what I'm planning on doing, I am going to then start, again, once I finish the Curse City project, I'm going to then start doing the the carving of the foam, get the actual bones of it built. I've already got the windows decided on. I actually broke my hacksaw, so I'm gonna have to get a new one specifically for this project. And then kind of need to chop up some of the windows that I'm going to be using to put into place, and figure out exactly how I'm going to do the stained glass on those. I've seen a few tutorial videos that kind of go through how they did it, and I think what I'm leaning more towards is going to be doing like a clear resin fill, and then either do a wash stain over it mixed with some Lamy and medium or something like that, and kind of use it to glaze it. Possibly even use like some carve some like different shapes into the glass, and then paint those individual shapes in the same way to make that glaze, so that way you have the true stained glass effect. And then once we're done with it, have a light set up to shine through the stained glass, so you actually get the effect of the stained glass on the miniatures as well as the floor. I do have the balsa wood I'm going to be using to make the broken pews that are going to be on the ground. But definitely looking forward to this project. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's unlike anything I've ever done before, and so it's definitely going to be testing my skills in ways I've never tried before. So going to be a lot of fun. Something to look forward to. I do plan on doing parts of it on the show as it progresses, as I figure out exactly how I'm going to be doing certain aspects of it. So something to look forward to. I do know that Games Workshop has a bunch of new things coming out over the next month or so that they've already started talking about. Next week specifically, we will be talking about the latest news that they've announced over the Christmas holiday. I know that it's been a couple weeks since our last episode, and I do apologize for the delay, but even a super fanboy like myself needs to spend time with family as well during the holidays. So but we're back, we're going into the new year, and should expect to see something almost weekly, if not more often in some cases. So things to look forward to. Thank you guys all again for watching as always, and I do really appreciate it, and hope you all have a great night. Thank you.